What's up everyone, Rui here from Stretch Health Canada, and today I'm going to be showing you a release for your entire lower leg, calf, and ankle complex using nothing but this lacrosse ball. Enjoy. So first thing to keep in mind, your calf and ankle have a lot of different moving pieces and parts. So we're gonna break this up into little sections just to make it easy for you guys to remember. And if you don't already have a lacrosse ball, you can pick them up at any sporting goods store, Walmart, Sport Check, Treadmill Factories. I'll leave a link in the description below if you wanna order one online. You can feel free to do so. Now keep in mind, anytime we do any sort of mobility work, we always want to do some sort of comparison, some sort of test and retest so that we can actually get an objective read to see if there's been a plastic change in our mobility. A really good one that we can do to test the calf and ankle is actually a squat. Now this may or may not be you, but what I often see in squatting is we have people who lean excessively forward with their torso, and that's often due to a limitation in ankle movement. So let's test it. Great, so now that we've done the squat, now we have something we can compare to later and see if it feels any better, or maybe we can achieve more depth. And there's a lot of different things you can compare. You can compare how deep you're going in the squat. You can just gauge how your hips feel. Is your torso in a more upright position? All are good. Without further ado, the first piece we're going to attack is the actual gastrocs. This is the big meaty part of your calf. So what you want to do is take your ball, place it right under the calf muscle, prop yourself up on the hands and just slowly start to massage that area, moving up, down, and all around. Now for the video, we're going to speed things up just for the sake of time, but when you are working on any given muscle group, you want to set at least 2 minutes aside to work that muscle. Anything less than that, and you're not really going to get a real good desired effect or result. Now here's the trick. If you find a trigger point, you want to keep pressure on that spot and then go through what's called an active release. For example, so if you feel any sort of tenderness anywhere along that calf, you want to keep pressure on that spot and then move the foot and ankle up, down, and all around. When you do that, essentially you're helping restore motion and the slide and glide between layers of muscle and fascia, which is really important if you want to improve range of motion. Once you've finished part one, you can move on to part two, which is the plantar fascia. Take your ball, place it under the foot, prop yourself up on the hands, and again, just start to roll up, down, all around. Some people like to do this from a standing position. That's perfectly fine. And again, if I feel a tender spot here, I'm gonna keep pressure and then I'm gonna wiggle my toes up and down. This feels really good. This feels really good. Okay, 2 minutes is up. We're moving on to the next piece, which is going to be your tibialis anterior muscle. So this is the muscle that runs along the anterior portion of your shin, just below the knee joint, and then it kind of finishes just before that ankle joint. Landmarking is simple. Take your ball, place it on the soft tissue just to the outside of your shin bone, place the ball, lay it flat, and then use your free hand to apply some gentle pressure down. Once you're here, you want to slowly work your way up the shin by gliding along the ball, just like this. Oh yeah, remember to breathe. It's kind of important. Keep in mind here, guys, you're always in control of your pressure. If it feels like it's too much, dial it back a little bit until you find that sweet spot, and that's a little different for everybody. Some describe it as a good hurt. Same rule here, when you find a tight spot or a spot that feels kind of tender, keep pressure on that spot and then move your foot up, down, all around. Again, this is that active release component, super important. In terms of repetitions, there's no set number. It's kind of more just based on feel. So once you've gotten to that point where you feel like it's done what it needs to do, you can move on to the next part. Okay, that's all done. Now we're gonna move on to the fourth and final piece to finish this up, and that is the peroneal group. So similar in location, but just a little more off to the side. If you want to landmark it, really simply have your foot push outwards and you'll feel a muscle contract just along that lateral aspect of your calf. Ball placement is going to be on the side, You're going to get into that similar position you were just in, but now you can't really see the ball, right? It should be hidden from your field of view because it's tucked under and it's on that lateral compartment. Free hand, down, apply some pressure, and slowly work down along that edge. Same rule here, guys. When you feel a tight spot, keep pressure and move that foot all around. Some of you might find that one spot is way worse than the other, or that maybe one leg is way worse than the other. If that's the case, it just tells you where to spend a little more time. Again, I'm systematically just working down towards that ankle joint. Found another trigger point. I'm just gonna rinse and repeat, same sequence, pressure, and then moving that foot up, down, all around. Fantastic. So that concludes our soft tissue component of the entire lower leg, calf, and ankle release. Now, what I like to do is I like to finish it up with a nice little stretch. I often call this the icing on the cake. Now, the reason I like to do this is because I often use the analogy of Play-Doh. It's easier to stretch when it's warm. When it's cold and I pull it apart, it just kind of breaks in my hand. But if I warm it up first, damn it, and I pull it apart, it takes longer for it to break. It's got more elasticity. So having said that, the final piece will be the almighty calf stretch. So you just want to find a piece of wall somewhere where you can lean up against it, and you're just going to go into a split stance. Watch. Once you're in the split stance position, what you want to do is just lunge your body weight forward until you feel a deep stretch in the calf that you just finished rolling on. Once you're there, you can hold it for about 30 seconds or so. 28, 29, 30. And then part two would be to engage the soleus, which is a muscle that actually lies beneath the calf, by bending that knee. Watch me. So from here, rather than lunging with a straight leg, we can bend that back leg, and now we've hit the soleus. Same thing, 30 seconds, 28, 29, and 30. Now let's retest that squat. Wow. Now I could really feel a difference on the left side. It almost felt like my body just wanted to sink deeper on that left side, like I was heavier on the left leg. And it's because my ankle was just so much more free. Anyways, guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you find this helpful. Try it out for yourself and see how things feel. And for any more tips, tricks, and anything stretching associated, please make sure to subscribe and like this video. We'll see you on the next one.